Level 1. The form. The first thing they buy from you is a name, not the name on your driver's license. The name on a piece of paper 136 pages long that asks for every address you've slept at since you turned 18, every person you've dated who was born outside the country, every dollar you've owed and to whom, and one question near the bottom that stops you cold. Have you ever done anything that could be used to blackmail you? You are 23. You are sitting at your kitchen table at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday in March. The pen is a cheap ballpoint from a mug on the counter. You will keep this pen for 11 years. It will sign 6 documents that change the shape of your life, and by the end, you will not be able to look at it without thinking of every version of yourself it made you leave behind. The recruiter is a woman named Ferris. 50-something, reading glasses and gray hair, a mug on her desk that says nothing. She does not smile when she takes the form. She holds it like a doctor holds a chart. She says, "Most people think this is about what you did. It's not. It's about what you didn't tell us." She taps the signature line. Sign with your own pen. You'll want to remember that this one was your choice. You sign. You don't understand yet why she said it that way. On orientation day, someone takes a photo. 14 people in folding chairs. You are third from the left. Danny Reyes is next to you. Same intake, same week, tie slightly crooked. He leans into the frame and grins the way people grin when they believe they are about to become somebody. You print the photo at a drugstore that evening and fold it into your wallet. 14 faces. Danny gets assigned to support. You get assigned to the analyst track. Neither of you knows what the difference will cost. You go to a bar that Friday night and Danny orders 2 beers and says, "We made it, man." You clink glasses. You don't know it yet. Neither does he. Level 2, the badge. The interim clearance comes through on a Tuesday. Secret level. You walk into a building where the elevator has buttons you're allowed to press and buttons you're not, and nobody explains which is which. Your badge beeps green. The elevator accepts you. For about 4 minutes, standing in that lobby watching the floor numbers climb, you feel something close to joy. That night, you call your mother. She asks what floor you work on. You say you're still figuring that out. It is the first time you have ever lied to her, and it doesn't feel like a lie. It feels like turning down the volume on a song she was never meant to hear. There is a man on your floor named Bell, 51. 30 years inside this building in one role or another. He rents a 1-bedroom 20 minutes away because his wife took the house in a divorce nobody on the floor discusses. Everybody is polite to Bell. Nobody wants to be Bell. It takes you months to understand that Bell is not a colleague. Bell is the weather report. One morning, Bell finds you refilling coffee in the break room. He doesn't offer advice. He pours his cup and says, without looking at you, "Your first year, you'll think they're testing your skills. They're not. They're testing whether you can keep your mouth shut at Thanksgiving." He walks off. You laugh. Then you stop laughing because Thanksgiving is in 6 weeks, and your father always asks, "What's new?" Level 3, the box. You are 26. You are sitting in a chair with 2 sensors on your fingers, a strap across your chest, and a cuff on your arm. The room is the size of a closet. There is 1 camera. There is 1 examiner. She does not tell you her name. She asks you to lie. "Pick a number," she says. Say it's 5, no matter what the number is. She needs to see what your body does when you lie on purpose so she can see what it does when you lie by accident or when you lie for real. The machine doesn't know the difference. Neither, eventually, will you. The real questions start slow. Have you ever committed a crime you weren't charged for? Have you ever used illegal substances? Have you ever been contacted by a foreign intelligence service? Then, have you ever considered sharing classified information with someone you love because keeping it from them felt worse than the secret itself? You hesitate. You don't say yes. You don't say no. You say, "I've thought about what it would feel like." The examiner writes something down. She doesn't look up. That night, you sit in your car in the parking lot for 10 minutes before you drive home. You have just answered a question about yourself that nobody in your life has ever thought to ask, and the answer is now inside a machine that remembers better than you do. Priya is on the couch when you get home. She's reading. She asks how your day was. You say fine. She doesn't push. She has already learned, 9 months into this relationship, that fine is a locked door she's not supposed to test. Level 4, the visit. You are 28. A man named Osei is spending 3 weeks talking to everyone who has ever known you. Your college roommate, an ex-girlfriend from years ago, your landlord in Baltimore, the neighbor you've said 6 words to in 2 years. He asks them if you drink too much, if you've ever expressed anger toward the government, if you've ever had money you couldn't explain. Your neighbor tells you about it over the fence, half laughing, half unsettled. He asked if you seemed stable, she says. Like, what do you even say to that? You laugh it off. Inside, something cracks that will never fully close. You have spent your whole life believing you moved through the world unnoticed. Now you know that a stranger spent 21 days proving that you were watched the entire time by everyone and you never saw any of it. The world didn't change. Your understanding of it did. Priya gets a call too. Ose asks her, in his careful voice, whether she has ever seen you handle money strangely, whether you've mentioned wanting to leave the country, whether the relationship is stable. She tells you about it that night, sitting on the bed, staring at a wall. He asked if I trust you, she says, and I realized I was answering a question I've never actually asked myself. You reach for her hand. She lets you take it. She does not squeeze back. A man on your floor named Griggs gets flagged the same month. A payday loan from his 20s, paid off, forgotten, never listed on his original form. It surfaces in a records check. Nobody confronts him. Nobody fires him. One Monday, his badge doesn't beep green anymore. His desk is empty by Tuesday. Nobody mentions his name after that. He didn't get flagged for the debt. He got flagged for the years he spent not mentioning it. You take the pen out of your wallet that night. You look at it. You think about page 90 of the form. You think about how close you came, once, to leaving a college semester off because it embarrassed you. You put the pen back. The gap between you and Griggs is the width of one checked box. Level 5, the room. You are 30. They walk you into a space with no windows and one door. The lock is on the outside. There is a document. There is a man you have never met who asks you to sign with your own pen. You sign. You walk out of that room knowing something you cannot unknow, and the knowing sits in your chest the way a second heartbeat would. Always there, never yours to share, changing the rhythm of every conversation you will ever have for the rest of your life. The strangest part is not the secret. The strangest part is discovering that the people with a higher badge level than yours still don't know what you now know, because clearance was never about rank. It's about compartments, rooms inside rooms. You could stand next to the director in an elevator and be the only person in it who carries what you carry. That's not a promotion. That's a weight they shaped exactly to your shoulders so you couldn't hand it to anyone else. You come home that night and Priya is making dinner. She asks about your day, and for the first time, you physically feel the wall between what happened and what you're allowed to say. Not as a concept, as a thing with edges. You sit at the table and eat, and you are excellent company, and you are completely alone. Danny texts you that weekend. He's been selling insurance for 3 years now. He loves it, he says. Flexible hours. He asks if you want to grab a beer. You say maybe next week. You've been saying maybe next week for 2 years. Level 6. The wall. You are 32. A Tuesday in November. They bring your floor into a room you've walked past 1,000 times and never entered. Inside, there is a white marble wall with stars carved into it. 140 stars, some with names beside them, some without. The ones without names are the ones who still can't be named, even in death. One of the stars was added 6 weeks ago. The name beside it is Novak. You know this name. You sat 3 seats from him at a briefing 2 years ago. He had a cold that day and kept apologizing for coughing. He was 29. Nobody tells you how he died. Nobody on your floor is cleared to know. You know only that he was overseas, that the star went up on a Tuesday, and that his mother flew in for a ceremony she's not allowed to describe to anyone. You stand in front of the wall for a long time. You count the stars without names. There are more of them than you expected, enough to fill a classroom. That same month, your father has a heart scare. You're supposed to be on a liaison rotation that week, and it's yours, except you're in a hospital waiting room instead, watching your father sleep with tubes in his arm. Cole takes the rotation. Cole, who signed his read-on the same month you signed yours, who has a 3-year-old, who had no reason to go except that you didn't. Something happens on that trip. Nobody tells you what. Cole's badge stops working on a Thursday. His desk is empty by Friday. The people who know can't tell you. The people who don't know pretend there was never a desk. You send money to Cole's wife quietly. You do not explain why. She does not ask. Quiet generosity is the only dialect this building teaches anyone to speak fluently. You take the intake photo out of your wallet that night. 14 faces. You count the ones still on the floor. 4, including you. You fold it back up. It's softer than it used to be. The crease goes right through Danny's grin. Level 7. The cost. You are 33. This is the level nobody warns you about because it doesn't happen in a room with a lock on the outside. It happens in your own kitchen on an ordinary Sunday over nothing. Priya is packing a bag, not dramatically, not with tears, methodically. The way she packs for a work trip, except this bag has the winter coat and the book her mother gave her, and those don't go on work trips. She says, I have been with you for 7 years. I do not know what you do. I do not know where you go. I do not know what keeps you awake. And I have stopped being able to pretend that's the same thing as trusting you. You say the 4 words, I can't tell you. She zips the bag. She says, I know, that's the problem. You can't tell me, and I can't live inside what that does to a person who loves you. She touches your face once. She walks out the door. She does not slam it. You almost wish she would. You sit in the kitchen for a long time. The pen is in your wallet. The photo is in your wallet. You take them both out. You set them on the table. The pen signed you in. The photo shows who was with you. Priya is in neither of those objects. And that, you realize, is the entire geometry of the problem. The things that matter most to you are never the things that get recorded. That same month, you see Voss. He is 50 now, and he is standing in the parking lot with a cardboard box and a face you don't recognize on him. It's not anger. It's not grief. It's absence. He had a relationship overseas he didn't disclose in time. Not an asset, not an operation. A woman in a cafe who made him feel like a person instead of a clearance level. He kept it quiet. 6 weeks too long. 6 weeks. That's the margin. He sees you. He nods. You nod back. Neither of you says a word. He puts the box in his trunk and drives away. You will never see him again. You will think about those 6 weeks at least once a month for the rest of your career. Your father visits the following weekend. He doesn't ask about Priya. He doesn't ask about work. He sits on your porch and drinks his coffee and tells you a story about a man he used to work with who once drove 40 minutes in the snow to return a borrowed wrench. The story has no point. That is the point. He's just sitting with you. No questions. No access required. When he leaves, he pats the doorframe twice, the way he's done since you were 16. You stand in the door and watch his car until it turns the corner. You understand now that this is the only kind of love that survives what you do for a living. The kind that never asks for the floor number. Level 8, the file. You are 34. You are sitting at a desk that used to be Voss's. His name was never on it. Yours won't be either. That's how it works up here. The furniture outlasts the people. Ferris retired 2 years ago. She sent 1 email, no subject line. You never left a box unchecked. That's rarer than people think. Take care of the pen. Bell retired last spring. No party, no announcement. Just an empty desk on a Monday and a coffee mug in the break room that nobody moved for 3 weeks. Danny sells insurance in a strip mall off Route 7. He has a daughter. He texts you photos sometimes. She's beautiful and she has his crooked grin. He asked you once, last summer, over a beer he drove 40 minutes to bring you, whether you ever wonder what would have happened if he'd gotten the analyst track instead. You said, "You got the better deal, Danny." He laughed. You didn't. There is a kid 3 floors below you, 23. He filled out his 136-page form at his own kitchen table last week with his own pen. His name is on a file that landed on your desk this morning. Inside the file, there is a photograph. Intake day. 12 people in folding chairs. He is second from the left. You open your wallet. You take out your own photograph. 14 people. 11 years ago. You are third from the left. Danny is beside you, tie crooked, grinning like a man who believes he is about to become somebody. You set the 2 photos side by side on the desk. Same pose, same folding chairs, same nervous eyes pretending to be ready. You pick up the phone. You dial the extension for the new kid's floor. You know exactly what you're going to say. You're going to say, most people think this is about what you did. It's not. It's about what you didn't tell us. You're going to say it because Ferris said it to you, and because she was right, and because somebody has to be the one who says it to the next person who walks through the door with a pen in their pocket and no idea what they're about to sign away. You don't know if you're saving him or starting his count. Ferris didn't know either. She made the call anyway. You hear the line connect. You hear a young man clear his throat on the other end. You take a breath. Stay cleared.